Claude can feel like a lot the first time you open it. Lots of buttons, lots of settings, a blank text box staring back at you. But you really only need a handful of habits to start getting real work done with it. In this video, I'm walking you through Claude's step-by-step, writing, analyzing files, creating documents, researching, and more, so you get what you want on the first try instead of the fifth. I'll be using one demo business the whole way through. Camp Brew Co, a small batch coffee roaster. Every example, the prompts, the files, the documents we build, will be for this one business, so you can see how the pieces connect instead of watching 10 disconnected demos. By the end, we'll have built a real Word document, an interactive quiz you can publish to the web, and a fully cited research report, all without leaving Claude. And I'll break down free versus pro along the way, so you know exactly when upgrading is actually worth it. Ransack. Getting started is just an email or a Google account. No credit card needed for the free plan. Here's the honest breakdown of what you get at each tier. Free costs nothing and covers chatting on web, iOS, and Android, writing and editing content, analyzing text and images, generating code, and web search. That's genuinely enough for most casual use. Pro runs $20 month billed monthly, or $17 month if you pay annually. It adds meaningfully higher usage limits, unlimited projects, access to research, extended thinking for harder problems, the ability to connect Google Workspace, and access to more Claude models. Max starts at $100 a month and is really about headroom, 5x or 20x the usage of Pro, for people running Claude all day long. My rule of thumb: start on free. Upgrade to Pro the moment usage limits actually interrupt your work, not before. Here's the layout. The chat box is where everything starts, the sidebar holds your past conversations, and up top is your model picker. Claude currently offers a few models tuned for different jobs. Faster, lighter models for quick everyday tasks, and more capable models for anything that requires deep reasoning, long documents, or careful step-by-step work. If you're not sure which to pick, the default is a safe bet for most tasks. You can always switch mid-conversation if something needs more horsepower. For today, since we're building real documents for Camp Brew Co, I'll leave it on the default and only switch up if a task calls for it. This is the single highest leverage skill in this whole video. A vague prompt gets a vague answer. Pair these two. Weak prompt: write something about my coffee business. Strong prompt: write a 150-word Instagram caption for Camp Brew Co, announcing our new Ethiopian Yirgacheffe single-origin roast. Tone: warm, a little adventurous, no corporate speak. Include one call to action to shop the new roast, and suggest 2 relevant hashtags. Notice what changed. I gave Claude the audience, the format, the length, the tone, and the goal. Lik farno detated in the build the arpio zinigans. That's really the whole formula. Be specific about what you want, who it's for, and what done looks like. Few other habits that consistently help. Give Claude examples of what good looks like when you have them. Ask Claude to think step by step for anything with multiple moving parts. If the first answer isn't quite right, don't start over. Just tell Claude what to fix. It remembers the conversation. Let's say Camp Brew Co has a spreadsheet of last quarter's orders. Ask how claps class. Customer names, roast types, order sizes, dates. I'll drop that file straight into the chat. Which roast sold the most units last quarter, and is there a seasonal pattern in the order sizes? Claude reads the file directly. No separate parsing tool needed, and can summarize trends, spot outliers, and even build a quick chart from the data. This works with spreadsheets, PDFs, Word docs, images, even scanned receipts. If you've got messy business data sitting in a folder somewhere, this is usually the fastest way to actually get insight out of it. Claude can generate real, downloadable files, not just text in the chat. Here, I'm asking for a wholesale pricing sheet, formatted as an actual Word document. Look at that. Proper headings, a formatted table, consistent styling. You can ask for revisions the same way you'd ask a person. Make the header bigger, Add a section for minimum order quantities, and Claude edits the same file rather than starting over. The same applies to spreadsheets. Ask for a cost per bag calculator or an inventory tracker, and Claude builds it as a working spreadsheet file with real formulas, not just static numbers. This is where things get fun. Artifacts are interactive things Claude builds and shows you live, right in the conversation. A working app, not just a description of one. I asked for a short quiz, a few taste preference questions that recommend one of our roasts at the end. Claude builds this as working code, and it renders right here so you can click through it immediately. You can iterate on it conversationally. Make the buttons rounder. Add our logo colors. Show a short blurb about the recommended roast at the end. Each request updates the live version. When it's ready, you can publish it. Claude gives you a shareable link you can drop into an email newsletter or embed on the Camp Brew Co website. No separate hosting needed. For anything current, trends, prices, competitor moves, recent news, Claude can search the web directly and cite what it finds. Notice the citations next to each claim. You can click through to the actual source instead of just trusting the summary. This is the difference between Claude's best guess and Claude checked. Is it physics? A tate end of the remeditation igelate and an inch fastly duckle of class forms prompt project. Regular web search is great for quick facts. Research is for when you need something deeper. Claude will run dozens of searches across many sources, cross-reference them, and come back with a structured, fully cited report. This takes several minutes to run in the background, so you can start it and go do something else. What comes back reads like something a research analyst would hand you. Sourced, organized by theme, and ready to actually use for a decision, like whether Camp Brew Co should launch a subscription tier. If you're tired of repeating the same context every conversation, your business name, your tone preferences, your role, custom instructions fix that. It's a standing note Claude reads at the start of every chat. Set it once, and every future conversation already knows who you are and how you like to work. Memory goes a step further than custom instructions. Claude picks up on details as you chat and remembers them automatically for next time, without you writing anything down yourself. You can see, edit, or delete anything Claude has stored at any time right here in Settings. Nothing is hidden from you. And if you're working inside a project, memory for that project stays separate from your other conversations, so client work and personal chats don't bleed into each other. A project is a dedicated workspace, its own set of custom instructions, its own uploaded reference files, and its own conversation history, all scoped to one thing. I'm dropping in our brand guidelines, our pricing sheet, and that sales data from earlier. Now every conversation inside this project automatically has that context loaded. I don't have to re-explain the business or re-upload files every time. This is genuinely the difference between using Claude as a one-off tool and using it as an ongoing part of how you run the business. Skills are reusable instructions Claude follows for a specific type of task. Skills are extensible farming control feelings of a present fiction of Sod. Think of them as a trained-in checklist for things like building polished documents, spreadsheets, or presentations, so the output follows real formatting conventions instead of a generic first attempt. FTN brought it. You don't usually have to invoke these by name. Claude reaches for the right one automatically based on what you're asking for. You can also write your own custom skills for repeatable tasks specific to your business, like a standard format for weekly sales recaps. Connectors let Claude actually reach into other tools you use: your email, your calendar, your cloud storage, project trackers backers, instead of you copying and pasting information back and forth. Find our Q3 sales presentation in Drive and summarize the top 3 takeaways. Claude goes and gets it, rather than me hunting through folders myself. This is where Claude stops being just a chat window and starts being something that can actually act on your behalf inside the tools you already run your business on. Everything we just covered works the same way across the Claude desktop app and the mobile apps. For iOS and Android, your conversations, memory, and projects all stay in sync. Desktop is handy for working alongside other apps and files on your computer. Mobile is there for the quick stuff. Checking on something, firing off a prompt, while you're away from your desk. That's the full toolkit. Prompts, files, documents, artifacts, search, research, memory, projects, skills, and connectors, all built around one real business from start to finish. Start with a free plan, get comfortable with a few of these habits, and upgrade only when a limit actually gets in your way. If this was useful, let me know in the comments which feature you're trying first.